Hello and welcome to the Knowledge and Power Show, where wisdom is the principal thing. Let's do it.
Sacrifice and really acknowledging and being mindful of the sacrifice you make.
Sorry. What can you say? Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up?
What's up, Jake?
What's up, man?
It's good to have you back, bruh.
It is so good to be back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And feeling fine.
Good.
That's good. That's good, man. That's good. So, Nate, you are living it up.
Oh man, I had
in
to
the
come
sunshine.
outside. I had to come outside today, man. It is a beautiful night.
It is
beautiful weather. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. Sitting out here with my lady.
Yeah.
Enjoying the weather, man. Enjoying the weather. I'll show you how she all fine and stuff, but she probably beat me up. Putting her on camera. So I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I don't want her choosing violence.
Right.
But it's an
Right.
awesome date night.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome date night. See, so I'm gonna dare to say this then to you guys.
Uh-oh.
The way that sun is just cascading off of y'all skin and the glow.
I'll kick that.
Glowing.
Who needs Florida? Who needs Florida?
You said who needs Florida?
Who needs Florida?
Well, you got this Michigan sun. Is that what you're saying?
Bam, that's what I'm saying.
Man, you crazy.
Because you'd be doing the same thing right now if you were in Florida.
No, I'd be on that beach, brother.
But sitting in a beach chair, right?
Daytona.
I'd be in the sand with my feet in the water.
Man, go get you some sand down at the Aco hardware store.
You can come here and get some.
Stick your feet in it, man. Call it a day.
Man, it ain't even the same.
Give me Michigan.
Yeah, come on up here and get some sand.
Oh
yeah, you're right. There you go.
Your sand got too much seagulls on it, bro.
That is true.
Seagulls is everywhere in Muskegon.
That is
They don't bother you unless you break out food.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You get attacked then.
Right.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, we got a pretty interesting show tonight. So we are in season 6. As we said before, this is episode 2. Jake is back with us. But before we kick it off, Nate, what would you like to say to the folks that are viewing us?
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. As always, we appreciate you being with us. If you would be so kind to hit that thumbs up button, let us know that you're watching. Drop a comment in the comment section below while we're talking. Join the discussion. Share the broadcast and subscribe to the channel. All of those things helps our channel grow, and we would appreciate it. So thank you in advance.
Good deal. Good deal.
Appreciate it.
Yep, appreciate it. So before we actually get into our topic, every podcast has a sponsor.
Yes. Yep.
But we don't have a sponsor. But if we did have a sponsor, let me tell you who the sponsor would not be. It would not be spiked shoes made by Bond. I bought it from the English Garden.
Who the heck is that?
All right.
Yeah, man. Spiked shoes. Supposedly these things, if you strap them on, get a good camera look at them. If you strap them on your regular shoes, it's 2-inch spikes, like 13 2-inch spikes on this shoe. And you just buckle it on to your shoe. And as you're cutting the grass, walk with those on, and it's actually creating holes so that the soil can breathe.
It's aerating the soil at the same time you cut
I
the
like
grass.
that.
I had my eyes on these things for like 2 years.
What happened?
Finally got a pair. Wore them for the first time yesterday. Almost twisted my ankle. Almost fell. And I broke them the first day that I wore.
They broke the first day.
They broke
them?
The buckle. So the buckle that you're supposed to like, it's just like straps.
Man.
Fastens you in. $40, man. $40 going down the drain.
Let the
Oh
people know one
man.
more time what the brand
I
is.
the brand to not buy, and who would not be our sponsor would be Spiked shoes made by Bond, sold at the English Gardens here. So yeah,
So the
so
idea
yeah,
is great, but the execution was terrible.
it's terrible. Terrible. I'm thinking, I'm excited. I'm walking out, feel like I had on cleats. I living my football dream,
Yeah,
getting to the
yeah.
field. And I
Right.
get on the grass, man, and the grass is already kind of wet because of moist because of the rain that we've been having. So I'm thinking it shouldn't be a problem, but still, I sink down to the soil and I can't even get my foot up, man. And then the brake, then the buckle breaks and shoe goes this way, my foot go
no.
that way, and it's just crazy, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I did not get a chance to stomp through my grass so that it could breathe, because 3 steps and it was
That was it.
Hate to hear that, because I would have tried them too.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you are a gadget guru, Nate, for electronics and stuff, but I will say, when it comes down to outdoor stuff,
Yeah.
I will see it on one of those shopping networks or TV infomercials, and I gotta have it, like the Works.
Okay.
I got one of the Works edges. I am a guru when it comes to outside stuff. I'll try it.
Okay.
And half the stuff that I buy don't work. Yeah. So tonight's topic, I know people are kind of wondering about that. The topic is Battle of the Sexes, and it's the second part to that. Now I forgot what it was.
Called it Pride and Pretense.
Pride and Pretense.
I'll admit that's almost like clickbait, but we'll get into the why I said that as we discuss.
Yeah.
Pride and Pretense.
So it kind of spawned from a conversation we were just having a few weeks ago, and kind of parlayed over into the podcast as we kind of found some other things to kind of pack the conversation with. So if you want me to, I can start off reading the article, the reading, the poem. I'm not sure what to call it.
Yeah, let's
start off with that poem. Are you able to share it on the screen, or are you just going to read it?
I'm just going to read it. I did not. I tried to find it like online somewhere.
Oh, I see.
I don't have Facebook. This was sent to me.
Okay.
And I don't have all the social media sites, so I could just put it up there. So, and I couldn't find it when I Googled it. So I don't know who the original writer is of the poem. It is a lady, but the person who published this is a male. So the name of the poem is called The Apology.
Okay.
And it says, "They beat me, and I called you to save me, but you couldn't. So I secretly resented you. They took our babies and sold them. I begged you to save us, but you couldn't. So I secretly blamed you. They raped me, and I cried out for you to protect me, but you couldn't. So I stopped trusting you. You were supposed to be my man, my provider, my protector. But when I needed you, you couldn't be there. So I hated you. How could I let you tell me what to do when Master could protect me more than you? How could I submit to you when you are forced to submit to Master? I'm sorry. How could I submit to you when you are forced to submit to Master? So to protect myself, I submitted to the one who could protect me and our children. I stopped trusting you. I stopped loving you. I stopped honoring you. I stopped valuing you. And in turn, I became valueless to you. I didn't see the frustration in your eyes when our children were sold. I didn't hear your silent cries when I was beaten. I didn't see your anger when I was being ravished. I didn't understand you held your emotions to be strong for me. I thought you didn't care, but you wanted to be there. You wanted to protect me, but Massa made you so you couldn't. So I would trust him more than you. I didn't see the hidden hands shaping our destiny. All I saw was my pain and the feeling that you neglected me. For all the times I blamed you, I'm sorry for the resentment and distrust I've held against you for centuries. I'm sorry for the times I've let you down, for all the times I've broken your spirit with the words and my actions, for the times I openly rejected you and tried to control you because I thought less of you. I'm sorry. Massa had a plan that he said would work for 400 years. 400 years is over now. My eyes are wide open. I see the king in you. Please forgive my words and see your queen in me. Anonymous.
Wow,
Pretense. That
wow,
was the
wow,
first one.
wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, that was something else, man.
That is a
Man,
lot to unpack.
that
Yeah,
is
it is.
that's a whole
Ooh,
extra large suitcase
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
of stuff to
Um,
unpack.
Good gracious.
yeah, that was a lot. And obviously, that was the writer trying to capture what happened back in the slavery era, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but all I know is I think I shared this with you at one point, Nate. I know a lot of times we still use, or some people still use, how we were oppressed 400 years ago as to say that that's still happening now, that we're
Mhm.
being held down by the white man. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the mentality now for what happened then, why would we think that the mentality that the writer captured the woman had 400 years ago may not still be the mentality now?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thought.
Yeah, it's a thought, man. It's and as you were reading it,
Mhm.
I'm thinking there's so much there, like Jake said, so much to unpack.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, in terms of how our relationships work today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of the dynamics that we have in our social world, sorry. Um, you can kind of look at that trauma that's really evident in that poem,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and you can see where it still affects us today,
Yeah.
how we deal with each other. Um, but as you were reading that, and I guess
Excuse me.
I'll get your opinion on this. I'm thinking, okay, the women in this poem had all these issues with the man as she was experiencing all this pain and this negative experience.
Right.
The man wasn't there for her.
Yeah.
Now we know, historically speaking, the man was also uh, deeply chastised by Massa through a process called buck breaking. The men and the sons were physically accosted, sexually accosted by Massa
Right.
as a power play to break them. Then they would do the same thing to their wives and their children in front of the men to break them even further.
yeah,
I would say that the man would probably have this same conversation in his heart with who he thought should be protecting him,
True.
his God,
right,
his
right.
his higher power. His ancestors, as they say, in
Yeah.
some of the Afro themed religions.
Yeah.
Who when he saw his wife being raped and beaten and his kids being sold,
Mhm.
and he couldn't stop it. Who did he
Yeah,
who did he express his frustration to? Who
Right.
did he feel like abandoned him? Who did he felt like left him hanging? And
Yeah.
so that whole dynamic, man, that whole white supremacist dynamic has caused such a ripple effect
Yeah.
in our psyche even today. But even back then, I'm sure was even much worse.
Oh yeah.
But it's just like, and you listen to the woman in that poem talking, she's saying that she felt protected, she felt secure by Massa, the same man that
Mhm.
was beating, raping, separating their family. She
Yeah.
found security in it. It's like that's trauma talking. Nobody was in their right mind.
yeah,
If the man was in his right mind, he would have done everything possible
Yeah.
to protect his wife, his woman, his wife, his children. He did everything in his power, I'm sure.
Mhm.
But when you standing there with a gun to your head, the promise of beatings and whippings
yeah.
and torture, if you act, you're not in your right mind.
Right, right.
And so,
And the
if you look at it,
backlash.
yeah, I wonder what you guys' thoughts are on that.
Jake.
I feel bad because the woman had to experience that and feel that way, but the man had to feel a certain kind of way too because he was experiencing the same things and sometimes even worse,
Mhm.
as he had to take all that he took back then.
Yeah.
And not be able to do anything about it.
Not be able to do
Yeah.
a darn thing about it.
Yeah.
Jake, what you got?
That's the dagger part of it right there, that he was not able to do anything about it. And a lot of times, even the other slaves were forced to watch as Massa or whoever was violating him
Mm-hmm.
and whoever else as a form of try something and see what happens to you.
Right.
So the mentality that he had, and it broke my heart to even hear, the woman's words as I was listening. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
this is deep, because it cuts the man down so low, but he was already low.
Right. He was already low.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then at the end, it turns around where she said, now I can see the king in you. And a lot of times he's never learned to see the king in himself again,
Come on, Jake.
because who's built him back up to king status, to king mentality?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not society.
Wow. Yeah.
Not the system.
Nope, not the system.
Yeah.
And
You
according to this
know,
poem, according to the poem, for the longest time, not the woman.
Right. And yeah, not even the
according to this
woman.
poem. Yeah. Well, I would dare to say that is some good stuff, Jake. What you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, please chime in. Hit the like button if you are enjoying this conversation. I would dare to say when I read it, because I teared up the first time that I read it, because it seemed like, okay, how close is that? How remotely close is that to anything that we deal with today?
Today, right?
So yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Let's
just
bring it to the present.
yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I lift from that poem is when I heard her say, "I didn't see your frustration in your eyes
Mm-hmm.
when they took our babies. I didn't hear your silent tears when they ravaged me." So
Yeah.
with that being said, it seemed like he was just standing back doing nothing and helpless.
Right.
And all the power was shifted toward, as the poem kept referring to, Massa.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to the conversation that we had last week when we were talking about suffering in silence. A lot of times, a lot of men, not all men, so I don't want to generalize, but a lot of men, they choose to just be silent about things. So it's almost like if there had been some kind of conversation where he could have gone to her to show his love, show his hurt, his pain for what he just had to witness her go through, and that he was helpless. But instead, sometimes, and I'm shifting, I'm doing like a little jump back and forth now to where we are today, in today's day and time, 2020. We may feel like, okay, the best thing I can do is to stay strong is just be quiet. And I hope you take my quietness as my strength, but communication is key. Let me know that you're hurt with what you see. Let me know that it's breaking you for us to go through, or for you to see what's taking place. And a lot of people don't want to do that for whatever reason. I still don't understand. I mean, I suffer from that sometimes still.
Yeah.
And as a man, as a male, we sometimes think that silence is our strength, but it's not changing the outcome of the situation, especially when you are not communicating. Communication is key. You got to communicate with your partner. You have to communicate.
Yeah.
As difficult as it may be, you have
That's
to
critical.
communicate. Yeah.
That's critical.
It's critical. But it has to be openly received from the partner's point of view, because when the man has been stripped down like that so low, and it's almost like, how do you even step back into your head of the house, head of the family role, when you were helpless and this man just took your wife and family and did what he wanted with them? But you couldn't do anything but stand by and appear to be unfazed.
Yeah. And I'm sure she had to know that it bothered him and it pained him.
Yeah.
I mean, you
But
would think realistically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then so bringing it up to modern time, we were talking earlier backstage about how there's a movie that
Yeah.
almost kind of reflects this poem. And I
Okay.
kind of
Oh
reminded Nate
yeah.
about Tyler Perry's The Family That Prays.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Sanaya's character, she was married to a construction worker who worked for her
Right.
boss,
Right.
which was
Mm-hmm.
a white man, and the whole time she had been having an affair with this white man who owned this great
Mm-hmm.
construction company. I mean, he had power, he had wealth,
Man.
prestige, and she ended up having a baby by him, and they kind of masked over their
Yeah.
lifestyle, and the husband was oblivious to know what was
Yeah.
going on under his nose. And I remember the one scene where everything came to a halt, and the truth came out. And she stood there. She squared her shoulders. She looked him in the face, and she said, "You will never be. You won't even be half the man that Cartwright is."
Right.
She said that he has wealth, he has prestige, he has money. What do you have?
Mm-hmm.
You're just a lowly construction worker. And that's when he turned, and the
Woo.
famous slap.
Oh
He
Lord.
slapped her, and then she flipped over the counter and everything. But that kind of made me think about that movie when I read this poem.
Yeah. Oh,
When
Yeah.
that's like a perfect example.
Yeah, it is
yeah,
a perfect example of that captures the poem, and it brings into purview that
Mm-hmm.
the spirit of this conversation is if you look across social media now, you see this movement
Yeah.
of young men and young women kind of going after each other.
Yeah.
Young men saying they're tired of only being desired for what they can offer
Mm-hmm.
financially and things like that. It's like, I want a woman that wants me for need, not because I'm MC het VD. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know that song. But and then the women are saying, if you ain't making $100,000 or more, you broke and I don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like that poem kind of exposes the root of some of that.
Yeah.
got you.
It's a security issue, a
Yeah.
provision issue, and I'm sure this is probably something that's always existed, but it just seems more prominent now because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think back, 50, 60, 70 years ago, when women and men got together, they built a life together. They
Yeah.
didn't despise humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But now it's like
Got to
it's
come
it's
up
it's different. And
Yeah.
and 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 like the guy from the movie, you a lowly construction worker, that ain't good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
You get shamed because you're not making a
Yeah.
certain amount of money.
But
Now,
they
Yeah.
said they
and because
tag is
is
uh
the
25, 25 years ago I was trying to be Claire Huxtable, but when I could have always been Lori Harvey.
mm.
You guys
Yeah.
are hearing the lovely voice of
Yes, she chiming in with the wisdom on the back end.
Nathan Hall's
She always
wife,
got that wisdom.
Michelle. Yep.
But so and that's a good point because you could have been Claire Huxtable, supportive wife, help her build from the family from the ground up, going to
Mm-hmm.
college together, starting your careers together, having a great family together. Or you could have been Lori Harvey and just married into money and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's this big divide happening, but I think the roots, especially if you're talking about certain racial groups,
Yeah.
they go back to this trauma that we've been talking about.
Okay.
Back to what?
The
This
trauma.
trauma that we've been discussing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because if you've always looked at the man in your community as less than, you're always gonna see others as greater than.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Jake, who's gonna build him up? If nobody around him will do that, who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
If everybody's looking down, then he's probably gonna end up looking down on himself, and then he'll end up doing crazy things to try to get that wealth, get that money, get that
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, so that he can appear to be on the same level as massa, so to speak.
It's massive, so
Yeah.
to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But do you see? But can you see it from, as the writer wrote the poem, from the woman's eyes, but can you see what she was truly trying to communicate, even though she didn't straight out say it? Talk to me. Where are you in the midst of all this going on? Do you see what just happened to our family? What are your thoughts? Where's your headspace?
Right.
Communicate.
Because
That's
Yeah.
what I. That's
he
what
was
I
being
heard
strong. He
echoing.
was being strong and silent, and she didn't realize
Yeah.
what he
I
was
can believe that.
dealing with internally because she didn't see it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And that doesn't it doesn't cosign or justify a person just really ripping into you like that. But here's the thing: when relationships, they can be adventurous. I'll say that. In the sense that the woman is not from a man's world and the man's not from a woman's world. So we have to do our due diligence by bringing each other on each other's island,
Right.
so to speak. Because if we don't, yes, we get lost in communication, and which causes
Yeah.
a drift. Which it's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. Go ahead,
If
Jake.
you realize we live in a nation, in a country that has never had a black male movement. Everybody else has had a movement. Right now, we're going through a women's movement, and
Interesting.
everything is geared towards empowering and lifting and boosting and pushing up the woman, including the black female. But in this nation, I don't ever recall a black male movement where that same thing has happened for us. And you can correct me if I'm wrong if you know of any, but I haven't seen it. And we've always been, the underdog for every other whatever that's in the nation.
Yeah.
As
Wow.
well as, even though we have opportunities afforded to us now that we never had before,
Yeah.
and we lost some opportunities that we used to have, but even with those opportunities, we're still under a conspiracy that you're not going to get up so high. A few of you can go up there, but not everybody. You're not all going
Gotcha.
up there. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Wow.
all the majority that don't get to push through the little pinholes that the few go through, they have that mentality that goes back to the man in the poem.
Mm.
How do I do it? And how do I get the respect of a nation that is putting me here where I got to fight double, I got to do triple as well as anybody else to get less than what others are getting?
Wow. Interesting, Jake. It's
Wow.
powerful. It's left
Jake
me kind
coming.
of
Jake coming
speechless.
through with the with the serious insight. Yeah, I don't know if there ever been like a national organized. I remember Louis Farrakhan did the Million Man March a couple
Right.
times,
That's
What
but
true.
resulted after that?
yeah, it never really
Yeah.
spawned
What?
into anything. It
Yeah.
didn't become like a movement like
Yeah.
the some of these
I
other
mean,
movements that we see.
even
So yeah,
the LG, the letters movement, that is going forth and getting results, and they are in your face and pushing strong and got supporters. But the black male,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
has
That's
he ever gotten those results? Has he ever gotten that kind of support? And this is this is where we are when it comes to that partner who wants. I want you to be like Massa. I want you to have what Massa has.
Hmm.
I think any type of movement, um,
Yeah,
I think it's calculated. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't spring up. I think that somebody is kind of like waiting for their time, and while they're waiting, they're planning, they're assimilating, they're gathering the people that's going to be the support the push behind
Yeah.
this movement being successful. So whenever that time springs up for the
Mm-hmm.
different groups that have come about, I think it's only been because of they were planning the whole time, and when their time came, they snatched
Yeah.
it. So I'm not saying that brothers are not planners, but it just makes me wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Just from conversations, and I know every male, I don't want to generalize, every male is not like this, but for the most part, when you look at a male,
Mm-hmm.
it's always about strength, brute,
Yeah.
and how tough you are, how boisterous you are about things,
Yeah.
and that sometimes I think has come off as we see now. When it comes down to this whole police thing and pulling over a black person, the cop is scared, the person that's being pulled over is scared, and they always want to throw that out there. I just thought I was dealing with an angry black man or something like that. So,
Right.
Maybe the approach there hasn't been a representation in the black culture to sit down and plan, assemble, organize a
Yeah.
come up. And I'll say this: I had an interesting conversation with a young person. I'm not gonna dime her out.
Mm-hmm.
She was very near and dear to my heart. I changed her diaper, but any old way. Uh, we were talking the other day, and she was just pretty much saying how
Who we talk, Cara?
I'm talking about Liv. I'm talking about Liv. Sorry to down me out, baby, if you're listening, but that was a great conversation that we had last week. She was just saying how she thinks that Martin could have had a little bit more balance. He was too nice.
Martin Luther King.
Yep.
Mm.
Oh Lord, not Martin
And
Luther King.
I hear her point. Martin is my dude. I defend him all the time. And then she wanted to talk about, but people always put Malcolm down and say he was too violent. I said, well, no, he did get it together before. He learned a balance
Yeah.
before
Mm-hmm.
he was assassinated. And all she was pretty much saying was MLK could have had that same balance, but everything was about nonviolence. But there were some times that you need to step up
Okay.
and be more assertive.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never really thought of it that way. But yeah, that's her opinion, and that was a pretty good opinion that she voiced. So I wonder if someone tried to organize something now, and they had the balance of Akeem and a early version of Malcolm, how would they be received?
Mm.
Yeah.
Or today, I don't know.
Right.
In 2022, I think too many people's feelings would get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much political correctness.
Exactly.
Mm.
And
So yeah,
a lot
People
of
get shut
division
down.
on
Yeah.
what the black male should be now,
Mm-hmm.
as far as religiously and financially and all of it.
yeah. It's so it's almost like you're saying, Jake. We have to always redefine ourselves or search our identity. Who are we now?
Mm-hmm.
Who
Right.
are we? Who should we be to the community now?
Yeah.
We can never just settle into this is me. I'm comfortable doing this. And I'm
Right.
right off to the sunset being who I am right now. We have to keep
Mm-hmm.
reinventing ourselves
Right.
to stay relevant.
Yeah,
Could be
that's
some
true.
truth to that.
That's
Can't
true.
just be the black American male
Mm.
as others, you know.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, I'm comfortable in my skin.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. And I think that I'll continue to evolve as long as I have breath in my body. But for the most part, I understand that I don't meet everybody's standards.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes to a point, I think, with whether you're a male, whether you're a female, whether you're white, black, Asian, or whatever, I think that you have to get comfortable with who you are and what you are actually contributing
Yeah.
to society, to your employer, to your family, to your neighborhood. You have to be okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
No one's going to knock it out the park every time. I say that I've realized later in age to embrace my humanness,
Yeah.
and I in no ways will ever be
Mhm.
Superman.
Mm.
So yeah, and doesn't mean I don't want to try to be better
Yeah.
in areas that I need to step it up in, but you know we have to gradually grow along the way as we learn what we need to improve and be better.
When I was away, we were playing, a group of friends and I were playing a card game where you pull cards and you read what question is on it or whatever. And one of the questions was, would would I date a man who is broke or something like that? Not broken, but
Didn't
it
have
was
nothing.
no, huh?
He didn't have anything. Broke.
Yeah, like broke, like no money broke.
Okay.
Got you. A pocket full of lint.
Right.
Mm.
And the answers from the different various ages of women that were in the group were very interesting.
Really?
Even the teenage girls were like, no, no, he's got to have something. And then another one was like, well, yeah, because I don't have anything either and whatever. But is the consensus of the majority was no, he don't deserve love in so many words. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, maybe he got a plan. He might be broke right now,
Wow.
Mm.
but he might have a plan or whatever, or you can join him and build
Would you
wealth
advise him?
together. But it seems like now he got to have a bag coming in.
Okay. Yeah, that's pressure.
That's pressure. That's exactly what was said too.
That's pressure.
Well, people need to realize a couple different things on that aspect.
Okay, Nate, be
Um,
careful because your wife is sitting in
yeah, she's
arms.
sitting right arm's length away,
Yes.
and
Like, pow.
yeah, and she will choose violence. No,
Oh
but
my
Yeah.
goodness.
you gotta. I think there's a distinction that needs to be made
Hmm.
between broke as a state of being and broke as a state of mind.
Right.
There are
Help me
people.
understand that.
I'm
That's
about to break it
good.
down. I'm about to break it down.
All
There are
right.
people that are broke because of a mentality.
Hmm.
Okay, and to even say that you're broke represents a certain way of thinking
Hmm.
about yourself, your situation, about money, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I think that people like that will tend to stay penniless or stay in the struggle or be perpetually broke
Yeah.
versus a person who has a temporary cash flow issue.
Right. Is he down on his luck?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He has a temporary cash flow issue, but his mentality is not, well, this is just how it is. I don't have no money. I'm still gonna be barely scraping by for, this
Yeah.
is how it is. This is how I do.
Right.
I think there's a distinction. While certain people are sitting here making faces at me, I think there's a distinction
Yeah, it is.
because a broke person will probably always be broke, but a person who recognizes that it's a temporary situation will rise above that temporary situation eventually. I think the problem rests. I think the problem really is where people, anyway,
Hmm.
I think the problem is when people make a character
Yeah.
um, assault
Assessment. Yeah.
on a person because of a current situation. And so it's like if I was to say to, the same group of women that was in your group,
Hmm.
that if you had a certain body type, you'll never find love.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was
that
one of
kind
the
of
questions
statement,
too,
that
actually.
that kind of statement is horrible
Yeah.
because a person can find love no matter what situation they in. You didn't want to be the special guest. Remember, I asked you to be the special guest. You didn't want to be the special guest.
Oh, she got
That
something to
is
say.
Nate talking to his
I
wife
tried
that
to. I
is
tried to
sitting
bring
right
you
next
in.
to his side.
Okay, so next time Carolyn goes,
I'm about to put the camera on you.
don't put the camera on me. But I'm just saying, next time Carolyn goes on a date and he doesn't have any money because he's broke.
Well, he should have asked for a date if he don't have no money.
Hey!
But
You guys
Ah,
can't. Let me solve
this is
this right
just a
here.
temporary.
That's not
No, it's
even.
temporary.
see, that's that female point of view.
That's
Mhm.
irrelevant because Carolyn is off the market now. Boom! I helped you out, Nate.
Oh,
Carolyn off the market because she's
Yeah.
too young. Okay,
she's
but
off.
that raises a good point. You know, would I advise my daughter to go out with somebody who's perpetually broke? Well, if you asking somebody out on a hold on, if you asking somebody out on a date, and we'll get back to the subject matter, and you don't have any money, you probably shouldn't be asking them out on a date anyway. But I'm not going to sign off on castigating a person because they don't have any money, or castigating a person because they have a certain waist size or a certain shoe size or none of that
Yeah.
other stuff, or because they have a certain hairstyle. I'm not gonna sign off on castigating anybody because of these kinds of situations. Because if you look at everybody through the eyes of God, like you're supposed to, with the
Mm,
love of God, then you're not going to judge anybody based on these types of things. You can choose and have your preferences, but you're not going to make a statement and say you'll never find love if you don't have any money, or if you don't make a certain amount of money,
right.
or if you're not in a certain income bracket, you'll never find love. That is a statement that shouldn't be made.
It shouldn't be.
So if that's
Well,
what if
yeah.
that's what your people really said, Jake, I'm not sure if they said it like that, but if that's what they really said, then they are thinking in a different kind of way. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just throw out there. I know that was just a fun game that y'all played, and it evoked all those emotions or reactions. It
Yeah.
kind of, again, it goes back to the poem that we opened the show with, where there are some things, there's some statements, there's some assumptions that we can hurl at a person that can really do some damage.
Hmm.
So I think, period, across the board, all of us can learn a lesson in really kind of stepping back, thinking about. Um, the first question is, would we date ourselves if we could? That's number one.
Mm.
Number two is, if I throw this out here to make this bold accusation or statement, what kind of trauma? Because everybody doesn't handle trauma the same way. Everybody doesn't. They can't get over trauma as easily as the next person. So if I throw this statement out there, how much am I going to traumatize this person, and it's going and they're going to be stagnated, and it's going to stagnate our relationship from moving forward. So that's why, yeah, I'd rather just step away before, and just have an intelligent conversation. And then when it gets hot and heated, I'll just step away before I say anything that I regret.
Hmm.
Because I just believe, people say I could be wrong. People probably put it in the chat that I'm wrong, but whatever comes out of your mouth, it is not in the heat of the moment. Well, you just said that. No, you meant that.
Oh, you believe that to be true?
I believe it to be true.
Ain't no
I
such thing as
can't.
heat of the moment.
If I let it come out of my mouth, I was thinking it and I was feeling it, and I
Mm.
But
said I'm gonna say it.
the Bible
So
does say, "Out of the abundance, the heart."
out of the heart, the mouth speak.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that's why I pull myself away, because I'm thinking it, but I'm not going to succumb to saying it.
Right.
So then you just don't know what I was thinking. But had you known, and this is
disagree with that, right?
yeah. So I think we need to really be careful, and it's really about building each other up. And here's the thing: I remember Pastor Lane said one time. This is going back to the broke thing. You should never marry a person's potential.
Mm.
You can't do that.
Never
So
marry a person's potential.
Nope,
instead, do what?
because you see, oh, I see that she could be XYZ. She will look good if she
Now that's
supports me in
true.
this area. You can't do that. You selling yourself, you setting yourself up right there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All
For
you can do is try to
disappointment.
go on what the person talks about. You listen, and that's one of the things I try to do. I try to be a good listener, and I kind of can figure
Yeah.
out who you are, and then I'll ask questions here and there to see if everything lines up with what I'm assuming or what I'm assessing.
Hmm.
But yeah, you cannot marry a person's potential. You got to be okay with what you see, and could you marry the person that you see sitting in front of you right now?
Mm.
That's good.
Yep.
That's interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You
Because
said
Because
Pastor
it
Lane
is
used to say that.
Pastor Lane
usually
said
what
that.
you
Yep.
see is what you
Last
get for the most part.
Yeah. I was. I mean, but again, they are probably striving, especially if you're young and in college or whatever. You have dreams,
Yeah.
but you got to sit back and listen to a person talk. And are they just
Yeah.
talk, or are they actually trying to manifest those dreams? I just saw the Barack and Michelle Obama story when they
Okay.
met and they dated. It was just the movie was pretty much just one day. He asked her out on a date. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's on Netflix.
Oh no, I never. Yeah, I did see it when it first
Yeah,
came
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
it was pretty good. It was just one
Yeah.
whole day, and Barack looked like he was limp pocket poke.
Right. He
His
was.
car, she sized up his car. He had a hole in the
Hole in the
floor.
floor.
Yes, yes. I mean, he was going nowhere. But but he talked about what he wanted to do. But if she had sized him up from
Yeah.
seeing all that she saw in that first date, which she
Yeah.
kept saying wasn't a date, um, she would have missed out.
Yeah.
She would have
Mm.
missed out.
Yeah. It would have been her regret.
Yeah, our first lady wouldn't have been Michelle. It'd have been Penny O'Brady or something like
Women
that.
know.
Carolyn O'Brady,
mm,
Rhonda O'Brady.
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah,
But you mean Obama?
yeah, yeah. I said
Yeah.
O'Brady. Yeah,
Oh
Obama,
Brady.
Rhonda.
Oh Brady.
Yeah,
Oh
I don't know
Brady.
why I got
Rondo
O'Brady.
Obama.
Oh Brady. But
Yeah.
there's a point that I think needs to be made also in this conversation. Um, this the security issue. I think
Mhm.
is really what this whole thing boils down to. Nobody wants to struggle.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to um, wonder where the next meals is coming from. Nobody wants to have to do any of that kind of thing. Nobody wants to have to worry about lights and heat,
Yeah.
and nobody has to. No one wants to have to worry. Some people do, but I think reasonable people don't want to have to deal with that. And I think that when a woman says, early in the dating phase, what are you when they're sizing the guy up, you
Hmm.
know, you have to, like I said, I think you do look at number one where a person is, and like in Barack's case, you got to look at potential too, because but then, like you said, I think it all comes down to that conversation, that
Listen.
mentality that a person
Yeah.
has,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and she could probably tell by what he was which ways he was going, the moves he was making, the things he was talking about, that this was a temporary thing.
Yeah, he
He
wasn't
was
talking about material things,
he
about his
wasn't going
come
to
up.
be
Right.
like that forever.
Right.
But I think it's only reasonable, especially if you're going to be all like deep and talk about socialism and social evolution and all that kind of stuff. Traditionally, men were supposed to provide, protect,
Yeah.
and offer security,
Yeah.
and make sure that their children, his children, his wife, were safe, protected, and well taken care of, well fed, well covered, blah 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 blah. And I don't think that's changed. And I really think the issues that a lot of people are having now is because what I said earlier, the broke mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're honest, there's a lot of, not I won't say a lot. There are some young men out here who really
Hmm.
don't have a clue about the future
Hmm.
or
That's pretty
building a
good.
future.
That's a pretty good assessment.
They want to just kind of coast through life.
Goes through.
They don't want to work. They don't want
Yep.
to save. They don't want to do anything. But they want to find a woman.
Lay up on her.
They want to lay up under the woman. Yup. They want to have sex with all these girls and all this other stuff. But they themselves
Can you say sex on knowledge and power?
Yes, you can say sex and knowledge and power because we all grown up in here. But no, I'm just
All
saying.
right.
I'm just saying you have that mentality out there that it's a broke mentality.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I see it in people that are, of young age, 20 somethings right now, got these boyfriends that just are about nothing. They are
Mm-hmm.
about nothing.
Yep.
Literally about nothing.
Yep.
They're not, no dreams, no goals, no nothing. They just want to
Mm-hmm.
party, hang out, and not trying to get education, nothing. And who
Yep.
wants that? Who wants to build with that? So, I
That's
gotta
the crazy
give,
part.
yeah,
Some do.
I gotta give.
You hear Jake?
What do you say, Jake?
That's the crazy part. Some do. They're willing to put up with that. They they don't mind putting up with that.
Well, that's their choice, I guess.
Right.
But like I said, I think reasonable people don't want to put up with that. And
True.
I think a woman who puts her expectations out front, at least she's honest,
Mm-hmm.
and you understand what the expectation is. And if you don't meet the expectation, you can't get mad.
Right.
But it's a bigger conversation because that works both ways. But
Yeah.
if the expectations have to be reasonable, I think that's all I'm saying.
Got you. Well,
Every man is not making, you know,
Whew.
$120,000 a year or more.
Right.
The average wage, the average salary in the United States is between $48,000 and $60,000 a year. So if
Right.
everybody wants a 100K plus person, you fighting for real limited resources.
It's true.
Yeah. So
yeah, I hear your point, man. But we did say because we're winding down now, so we can
Mm-hmm.
be ready to close out or bring to our hard point of our discussion. We did say that season 6 was dedicated to uh, families.
right.
Families.
So looking at the story, the article that we read, the poem that we read, the conversation we've had, how does that tie into impacting or affecting a family?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would dare to say, again, using that poem, that if family is together, the way to keep that family together, is to communicate,
Mm-hmm.
and don't shut each other out. Don't tear each other down with words or expectations that seemingly have not been met.
Yeah.
Yes, women want security. I understand that. I've been told that. I've heard that for a long span of my life. Um, but even still, and it should be on the man to try to
Mm-hmm.
grant her, the family, and himself that kind of security.
Right.
But the same token, you never stop having a meeting of the minds where you sit down and you keep each other updated as to where you are today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you're not,
that is good.
that's key. So I know we said we were going to be here by this time, but some things came along and we're here. So we're going to have to kind of either rework some things or just keep moving forward with the same game plan that we've been using. And it's got to be some patience have to be exercised in there. Flexibility have to be
Mm-hmm.
exercised in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So you guys want to chime in with anything or?
So it sounds like the moral of the story is communication is key.
Communicate. Yeah, watch your words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's more the moral of the story is what you say and how you say it
Yeah.
in your communication.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Women want security and love, men want respect.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that in mind, you got to base your communication on those ideals.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
don't let that be the hardest thing to do, to
Right.
make that exchange to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's about it. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Sir.
So as we get ready for the wisdom nugget, I don't know if one of you guys have it. I always have a standby if y'all don't have one. But you got one, Nick?
Yeah, I got one. Yeah.
Okay. Um, next week is Father's Day.
Woo!
Yeah.
Next week is Father's Day. So we know that with Father's Day, all the restaurants will be open with plenty of space.
Right.
So you can
Ah, man.
take dad out. You
Just
will not have to
roll.
worry.
Yeah,
You
we'll
won't
all be grilling. We'll all be cooking and grilling our own food.
exactly. Get ready for the ties, the watches,
Yep.
the tool set.
Mm.
So all I got to say is, don't get upset if you see that same tool set trying to be that I'm selling it on online or something like that. Like, did I buy you that? Yeah, you bought me that in the last 6 tool
Right.
sets. But no, I just want to say, be kind to fathers.
Yes.
There wouldn't be a you if it wasn't for a daddy. So keep that in mind. May not be the daddy that you wanted, but hey, like it or not, you're stuck with him. So it just is what it is. But you guys got anything planned specific?
Wait,
Or
I have something extremely important to say.
okay,
Yes, our special guest has something to say.
all right. The
Go
special
ahead.
guest with just a voice, no
No face.
face.
Here's. I'm gonna get the mic closer to you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, sit back.
Oh, you changed your mind?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
We can hear it real good.
Yep.
okay.
If no one has told you today, tomorrow, or next week, you guys are amazing, awesome, wonderful dads.
Oh,
You
Thank
for
you.
stepping up. Thank you for being an example.
Mm.
Thank
Thank you.
you for
Thank you.
loving your children.
thank you very much, babe. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
There's
We
your standing
appreciate it.
ovation
Oh, she gave us a standing ovation.
and cartwheels.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
you got to
I
get cartwheels, Nate.
I would show
You
you
got
the
to
Yeah.
cartwheels,
put in
but
that
I don't want her
camera.
to choose violence. I don't want to choose violence.
All right, then. You can't take one for the team.
No, man, I can't. I can't take one for the team.
Yeah, but that's
No.
much appreciated, man.
Yeah,
It's
we
much
appreciate
appreciated.
that, Michelle.
Yeah,
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
I believe she
Parents,
meant it too.
I believe she
Mm-hmm.
did. I believe because she's had a chance to observe. We've been in
I
each
All
know
other's
three
my
of us,
lives
yeah,
sister
for a
minute.
yeah, yeah, she meant it. We appreciate that. And yeah, I'll be out of town for Father's Day. So
Good
are we
deal.
doing the show?
Well, you'll be out of town, and we do take one Sunday off. But I was thinking we could do it for Father's Day since we are fathers. But that was just my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We don't have to. We don't have to.
I'm not. I don't want to judge now. Let's talk about it
Yeah, we talk about it.
to be sure.
Talk
Just
about
to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we
Maybe.
did it,
Because
I was
I
thinking we
had
get.
because I hadn't thought about that because I just thought we was going to do it, but then I didn't realize Father's Day and I was going to be out of town. So we'll figure it
Right.
out.
Yeah, we'll
I mean,
figure it out.
and that would be our one Sunday away for the month. So
Yeah, but we'll make a determination here in the next couple of days, and
Yeah.
if we're not going to do it, everybody will find out. We'll let you know.
yeah. And if we do it, I think it'd be great if we have our kids join us. At least one
Oh wow.
representative. You know.
We could try. We
Well,
could try.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd
Yeah.
be cool. Don't give me nothing this year. Just come on the podcast.
I know. Oh, that'd be sweet.
You know
Like,
I
what?
like
The
that.
wifeys should do it with a kid.
There's an idea.
The kids can tell the people how they feel about us.
Ooh. I will have my hand on the button, be like, commercial.
Right.
They be like, when they put commercials in Knowledge and Power. But yeah. Okay. Well, Nate, let me set you up for your wisdom nugget.
All right. It's real simple, guys. It's relationships, as we know, are tricky and take work. But I think the best relationships are those who recognize it's not about what you can get out of it. It's what you can give into it. And when you go into a relationship, understanding that your role is to do everything you can to put a smile on the other person's face, then you'll have a better relationship.
It's good, bro. It's good. So
Thank you,
got
man.
you got Jake choked up over here.
I know. That came from the heart. That came from the heart, man. I think I was inspired by the wife, man. She's sitting so close.
Yeah,
I was inspired.
y'all enjoying that non-Florida weather, man. That's why. See,
Right.
Look at the hand. Look at the hand.
Dream, Michigan. That's what
Sorry,
you
y'all
gotta
don't
do.
have no hand on you. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, man.
Right.
Well, all right, fellas. As usual, it is great. It was great sharing the screen with you all.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy your week. Be safe.
Yes.
And
Laugh.
if you haven't
Love.
hit that thumbs up button, please hit it before you go.
Yes. All right. Take care. Laugh, love, and be safe.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good one.